Welcome to the lesson on decimals and place value. So we're going to begin this lesson by defining what a decimal is. Now a decimal is a fraction expressed in a different form. So let's go ahead and begin by you going over vocabulary first. So what is a decimal point? A decimal point is a dot or a point that's used to separate a whole number and a fractional part of a number. So if you take a look at 4.3, well, the 3 is the fractional part, whereas the 4 is the whole number part. And what is a digit? Well, this number ranging anywhere from 0 to 9 to represent numbers. A decimal is simply a number that contains a decimal point. So if you see something like this is a decimal, okay? And then, or some people would say a decimal number. And then place value is simply the value of a digit's position in a number. So we'll go over this. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay, so to better explain the concept of decimals, we'll go ahead and start by using money. So when talking about money, the digits to the left of the decimal point represent the dollar amount or numbers greater than or equal to 1, as you can see expressed here. Now, the digits to the right of the decimal point are representative of parts of a dollar or cents. So even if you had, let's say, $89.95, well, this is the fractional part of your number, and this is the whole number part. Okay, so we'll go ahead and talk about that when we get to the place value chart. So let's go ahead and do that right now, actually. Okay, so here we have a place value chart, and oops, I forgot to write units here. So this can be units or ones. Okay, so all your values to the left of the decimal point are whole numbers, right? So like this 7 is in a whole numbers position. So we have 7 ones, okay? And then we read from ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, etc., all the way up. All right, and then to the right of your decimal point are your fractional part of the numbers, okay? So we have the tenths, hundredths, thousandths, etc. And notice that they end in th. And why is that? Well, th is used to indicate values less than 1 or fractions of a whole number. So that's what this is, fractions of a whole number. Okay, so now let's go ahead and find out how you would read decimals. So take a look here. So to the right of the decimal point, we have 1. So that means this is in the tenths place, right? So to the right of the decimal point is tenth because it ends in th, okay? So as a fraction, this would be expressed as 1/10. Okay, so how would you read this decimal? And I would like to say that this 0 is simply a placeholder. Okay, it doesn't change the value at all, but we do need to determine in which place this 2 is in. So if you read this 0 is in the tenths place, whereas the 2 is in the hundredths, so this is read as 200ths or 2 over 100 as a fraction. So what about this decimal? So again, we have 2 placeholders, right? We have the tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So this is 3 thousandths, right? So we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So this is also 3 over 1,000 as a fraction. Okay, so now let's go over some examples. So let's see. Let's take the same number, 7.89123. And I would like for you to determine the place of the 9 here. Okay, so we know that the 7 is our whole number. And then immediately to the right of the decimal point is 8, which is tenths. And then your 9 is hundredths, right? So since it's two places to the right of the decimal point, it makes it hundredths. So 9 is in the hundredths place. So this is also expressed as 9 hundredths, right? Or 9 over 100. Okay? So let's go over another example here. So what about this? Let's take this number, 4,367.28. Okay, so I want you to take a look at the 3. All right, and so what's the place value of this 3? So remember, these are your whole numbers, right, to the left of the decimal point, and you're going to start by reading from ones, tens, hundreds. So that means the 3 is in your hundreds place. And notice I did not say hundredths, but hundreds. Okay? So this value is 300. Okay? So let's go over an example as far as why a decimal is a fraction expressed in a different form. Okay? All right, so let's take, for example, the decimal 0.352. Okay, so we know that this 3 is in a tenths place, then we have the hundredths, and then we have the thousandths. All right, so if you wanted to say what this is completely, it would be read as 352 thousandths. Okay, so look at this 2 right here. This 2 actually determines what this will be expressed as, right? So this 2 is in the thousandths place, so that means the number is 352 thousandths. Okay, so a tidbit of information right there. Now on to talking about fractions expressed in a different form, or decimals it's expressed in a different form. That's what I wanted to say. All right, so this is in the tenths place. This 3 is in the tenths place, so this is written as a fraction 3 over 10. Plus we have 5 hundredths, so expressed as a fraction is 5 over 100, plus 2 over 1,000, because the 2 is in the thousandths place, right? So we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. All right, so now let's go ahead and add these fractions together. But the only way to do that is to have a common denominator. So we have 1,000, that's our greatest common denominator. So that means we could turn the smaller denominators into 1,000 as well. So let's start with 3 tenths. So this would be 10 times 100. And so that would be 300 over 1,000. Because remember, I multiplied by 100. Since I'm multiplying 10 by 100, I also have to multiply the 3 by 100. So that's 300 over 1,000. Plus, we have 5 over 100. So this is 100 times 10, which is 1,000. And then 10 times 5 is 50. So this is 50 over 1,000. Plus we have 2 over 1,000. So now we have a common denominator of 1,000. So all we have to do is add the numerators together. So 300 plus 50 plus 2 is 352. So this is 352 over 1,000. So it's the same as 352 thousandths. So this is this. Okay, And another thing I wanted to point out is that if you notice the denominators here, they increase by 10, right? So this is 10, this is 10 times 10, and then this is 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, so just an additional information there. So that's all we have for this lesson. Hopefully it was helpful to you, and I look forward to working with you in the next lesson. Take care.